All right, we go into the holiday season of 2021. My big New Year's resolution in 2021 was to get over my fear of loud environments. I used to have a hard time with social events, and 2020 I got a break from it, obviously. 2021, at the beginning, it seemed like we would go back to those loud, crowded environments, and we have to a great extent. Not to the extent that I had anticipated, which is good because I got some practice, right? I got to practice going out when it was 25% open, and then it was 50% open, and lately it's been 100% open. But there's one lasting difference that has made it a whole lot easier. We don't get to see each other's faces. I can't tell you how many times I'll be in a conversation with somebody. I'll have to say something that's really difficult, right? This past year has been full of situations where we've had to say things that were difficult, and people couldn't see my faces, or they'd say something that was stupid, and I didn't want to laugh at them, but I laughed at them, and they couldn't see it, right? That's been very nice as well. And I want to continue networking with the right people. I'm recording this on October 17th, 2021, and I hate to say what the mandate is, but there's going to be something that's mandated next week that may affect our jobs, our way of life, and fortunately, I've been able to avoid most of the problems with that because I feel like I have the right network, right? The people at my workplace and I get along. I get along with the locals here. I've been trying to network with the right people. Uh, so I got two other goals for the rest of this year before we close out this year that would really make life a whole lot easier. Number one, I hope to expand my intermittent fasting a little bit more. Maybe eat only 3 times a week by the end of this year. And here's why. I do a lot of gig work, right? I do a lot of private tutoring. And my inspiration for trying to expand my fast even more is that 2 days every week, every Wednesday and Thursday, I have a very chaotic schedule, right? I'm working locally at a tutoring center now, and then I got several clients that are remote work, but I have to get from the tutoring center back home or back somewhere suitable to do those remote sessions. I only have a 30-minute drive drive time, and on top of that, uh, other chaotic events can happen that same day, or sometimes a meeting at a university where I'm working. And so, long story short, sometimes I have an 8 or 9 hour window where I don't get a chance to eat, and sometimes before the day before that might have been a big anniversary where I fasted for, and you get the idea, right? You want to be able to stay on task without being intruded by, oh my god, how do I schedule mealtime as well? Now, why don't I reschedule some of these things? So the problem is that I learned the hard way that you got a client that's go, 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 go. You want to try to avoid rocking the boat until you really have to. Back in 2019, I had a client who was, we were negotiating, well, this was a prospective client. We were negotiating, and everything was going good until I told them, I think we were talking about this in May. I got a conference in July. Why don't you let me know, because the conference was only going to be 3 days. The question I had for them was, do you want me to schedule, because the conference was in, trying to remember the details, in Taiwan, but I also wanted to take a side trip to Japan. And I asked, well, do you want me to schedule the trip to Japan before the conference or after? I can do either one. And they completely dropped out of that. I've learned that scheduling snafus like that, you work with it until you can't, right? So I haven't, rocked the boat with this client because I want to make sure, like I said, networking is very important, right? I don't necessarily need the income from these 1 or 2 clients, but I do need the networking because of all the uncertainties in our life. And there are people who say, well, don't make friends with people who you work with. Well, it's not really friends. It's I want to make sure I have my engine going, right? I don't want to cut it off prematurely. And so I want the eating to not get in the way of my life goals, right? Eating should be fuel, a means to an end, right? Not the life goal itself. I want to be accepted for being happily solosexual. I really love myself romantically. I do. I first noticed this summer, actually. I had been living in Phoenix, Arizona, and so I had been going to a board game club, and one of my opponents there at the board game club had gotten married, and so I remember thinking, wow, I feel the same way about my relationship with myself as she does her new husband. And I felt really good about that. Now, during the drive home from Phoenix to Seattle, it's a 20-hour drive. I was driving 5 hours every day. I was listening to the radio. Now, the drive could have been more relaxed, right? I hate to criticize, but there's a lot of uncertainty going on. So I was interviewing for the job at the tutoring center that I alluded to earlier, and my hiring manager was like, he'll let me know. Oh, we don't know if we have an opening. Why don't you start next Tuesday? Now that's the kind of uncertainty in the economy in Seattle. This is why I need to network with the right people. It gave me a little bit of inspiration. Oh my God, I still have a long ways to go with my networking so that I could have fewer of these situations like that. Well, I let my manager know, well, how about that we start the week after that, because I'm still in Phoenix, and he said that if he assigned the shifts to somebody else, that it might be hard to take them back. And I'm like, okay, let's do it then. And so I started a 4-day trip home. And as I'm listening to the radio, there's a lot of songs about romance, obviously. I'm thinking, that's a song about a relationship with myself. And unfortunately, the rest of society doesn't always feel that way, which is which can get into really tricky situations, right? In 2019, I was flying from where did I fly from that time? Los Angeles to Tokyo, and I had booked a seat early because I wanted to choose the seat. I wanted to sit on the left side of the airplane because I wanted to see Jupiter and Saturn. They were coming close into conjunction all year in 2019 and 2020 as well. But the airline had changed my seat. And when I went to find out why, they had changed my seat because this couple wanted to sit together. And I'm thinking to myself, I think people choose seats for a reason, right? Why does being in a couple get precedence over being single or being happily solosexual, right? Now, as I got onto the plane, I explained to the people I wanted to switch with the other row. So basically, 3 of us would have to switch seats with the other 3 on the other side of the plane, right? And everybody was very accepting of that. But the flight attendant came to see what all this chaos was all about, and she was very upset and screaming at me. We have to board. We're already late. And I explained to her, I booked this seat many months ago because I wanted to see this event, and you guys switched me because of a couple. Is there anything wrong with being solosexual? And she got even more upset when I used the word solosexual. That's the kind of society we live in. I hope to make more noise about that. I've changed the name of my movement. It's Solosexual Lives Matter now, because that's how I feel about myself now. Alright, so in the coming months, I hope to cut back on how often I eat so that I can have more freedom to actually enjoy the real spoils of life, right? Not just the means to the end. Make more noise about being solosexual, and hopefully recruit more. I think there's a lot of solosexuals here in the United States. A lot of them aren't willing to come out of the closet. That's the problem, right? Everybody seems to deal with it their own way, which is a lot more painful, right? Imagine if we were 50 million strong instead of everybody fighting their own fight, right? Networking with the right people, including other solosexuals, but also other people in the community who I need to live with and to to survive the next chapter of this saga, right? Thanks for watching.